Hello everyone, welcome to the Yarn and You Girl podcast. I'm Janine, your host, also known as Yarn and You Girl, and this is my channel where I talk to you about all the knitting and crafting I am doing. And today is January 24th, and I'm coming to you from my home in Vancouver, Washington. I hope you're all having a wonderful Thursday. At least it's Thursday here where I am. And I don't know what else to say. So welcome to my channel, and hopefully this will go smoothly today. I'm still in my new space. It still feels a little awkward for me, although today I am podcasting without the husband, so that's even better. It still feels a little awkward, and I think it's because it's not quite put away yet completely. You know, there's always so much to do, and I'm trying to find all the little organizer things that I might need, and I'm not a great organizer to begin with, so finding everything I need and putting things in the right place so that the space becomes an efficient space for me is going to be the biggest challenge. I usually just kind of leave everything out on the table, and then I can find it because it's all out on the table. If I put it away, I usually have trouble remembering where I put it away. So I'm trying to remedy that a little bit and work on some of my organizational skills. If you guys have any suggestions for organizing stuff, I would love to hear about it. It's not my strength, definitely not a strong point of mine. So I could use all the tips and help I can get. But for now, it's starting to feel like an actual yarn room and office, so that's a good place to start, I think. I got, a couple different things. I went to the store the other day, speaking of it, like lack of organization. I went to the store the other day to buy like an organizer drawer because I have different shipping bags and I wanted to kind of organize them by size. And then they're not all in the boxes that they came out of, and I have like one place to go to for my shipping bags. And so I bought that, and I was like, oh, I need a garbage can for this room because I always have garbage and I don't want it just piling up. And so I bought a garbage can, and then, I was on a whim and I bought some hangers too. Well, I went through the whole checkout line, and I got distracted in the checkout line because at our Fred Meyer, they have somebody who is ringing you out and then somebody who is bagging your groceries. Well, the grocery bagger person got called away unexpectedly to go ring somebody else out. And so I started helping bag the groceries, and I was so focused on getting all the groceries into the bags that I left the store without my organizer, without my trash can, and without my hangers that I bought. And I got all the way home and I was like, oh my gosh. And normally, if it was like I left a block of cheese or something, I wouldn't even drive back to the store. But this was like $40 of stuff. So it really just like blew my whole afternoon. So I'm not super organized, but I'm trying to get there. Anyway, welcome. Let's actually talk about knitting because that's probably why you're here and what you're interested in. And I have a few things today. Not all knitting related. I have tried really hard to get some knitting in, but I've been working on my son's auction project for the class. So if you guys have followed me, you know that I have been in charge of their auction project, and that was teaching them how to do granny squares. These are 7th graders, by the way. So teaching 7th graders how to crochet granny squares. Their job was to make a granny square, ideally 12 inches by 12 inches. Oh gosh. Sorry guys, the yawns are happening, but I think it's because I'm talking too fast and not breathing. Slow down and breathe. Okay, anyway. So ideally they were supposed to make a 12 by 12 granny square, and I was teaching them to crochet just kind of a basic granny square. And some of them did great, and some of them not so much. So the auction, though, I need to have the blanket done by February 8th. And so I told the kids, oh my gosh, you guys, I'm sorry, hang on. This isn't going to be good if the yawns are going to be happening the entire time. So hang on one second. Okay. I just sucked down some caffeine, so hopefully that will help. But I'm teaching them to make granny squares. So some of them did great, some of them not so much, but the blanket needs to be done by February 8th, I think at the latest. And I needed to collect them all so that I can put them together, and then I'll need to crochet a border. So in the process of collecting them all, I realized there were quite a few that actually needed to be for me to work a little bit more on. Some of them came back looking like hats, so not quite so much granny squares. So I did the best I could with some of those. If I had to, I ripped them out and I started, you know, from a spot where I could actually manipulate it into something flat and a blank, you know, a square. And some of them I had to go from square one and just create a square for this person. So I would say the majority of the blanket is created by the 7th graders, but also quite a bit of my work has been going into it. So I do have that to share with you guys. It's not completely done, but all the squares are joined together. There are probably, I think there's 24 squares. I think I still might be missing some kids, but at this point I kind of sent out a couple emails and was like, hey, you know, I need it by this date. If I can't get it by this date, then I can't guarantee that I'll get their square into the blanket. And so hopefully, but I think, you know, some of the families are, you know, the kids weren't really into it or whatever. So I'm just going to go with what I have. It's a big blanket. It's a 6x4. It's quite large. And even though some of the squares are a little wonky, as I've been putting it together, I'm like, I really like this blanket. I could, you know, have a blanket like this. This might be kind of fun. So I'm actually considering taking all the scraps and making like small granny squares out of the scraps of what's left of all their colors, and then putting together a blanket with that. And then if I don't have enough squares, then maybe I will use leftover scraps from other projects and add them in and just kind of see what I come up with. Because a little granny square, like 4-inch granny square, takes like maybe 10 minutes, maybe. When they start to get bigger, you know, then it takes a little bit more time to go around. But if you're just making a small one, it's like no time at all. So I've been working a lot on that. I also have written up my hat pattern that I showed you guys last time. It's out testing right now. A couple of my testers are done. So hopefully you'll be seeing some of those on Instagram. I know Leslie from the Naughty Knitwits, she knit one and posted about it today on her Instagram page, which is at @LettonMares. I think that's how you say it. Or the Letton Mares. I can't remember. Anyway, if you follow them, you'll see it on their podcast, I'm sure. And I did, there will be a giveaway kit that they are going to have when the pattern gets published. So they'll have some yarn that I dyed to go with it, and the hat pattern, and that will be a giveaway that they'll be doing on their podcast. So you guys should definitely check them out and check out the kits. I will also have some kits. I do have some of the yarn to show you guys. The kits aren't available yet, and I'm hoping to put together a couple different color combinations, or maybe just a couple different of the solid base colors, because I really like the color that I did for the accent. So there might be a couple different options. Right now there is a gray and like a rainbowy option, so that I'll be showing you the hat too, because I've knit 2 more of those, and so I do have some finished objects. And so let's show you my finished object. So I was working on the hat. It's called Coveted because the story is my sister-in-law had a knit hat that she bought somewhere, or I don't even know where she got it, but I have wanted that hat for years. Every time she wears it, I'm just like, dang it, that is the cutest hat. So I went and kind of snuck a peek at it and decided that I would try to recreate it as best I could. And it took a couple tries finding the right yarn, like the one that you guys saw. If you watched the last episode, I used a worsted weight yarn with some bigger needles. But I actually think that worsted is Malabrio worsted, which I think if you go on Ravelry, Malabrio worsted is listed actually as an Aran weight yarn. And that makes a little bit more sense because I was trying to hold 2 fingering strands together with the same needles, and I was getting a lot looser like fabric. I didn't like the fabric at all. It was very holey in the ribbing, and that to me is not a good hat. I wanted a hat that actually, there shouldn't be air holes in your ribbing. You should have a sturdy, rib line there. And, oh, puppy's coming. Hi, puppy. This is Tonks, guys. His little nose is in the... Hi. He is such a little lover. And it's kind of fun to have him, have my door open. I don't really have a door to close in this office yet anymore, so he can come in and visit and stuff. But, they say that your owners and dogs start to look alike. Let's see. See? He's got curly hair like me, and he's blonde, which I'm not usually blonde anymore. I dye my hair red, so it's fake. But he's like my dog. We're matchy-matchy owners. Anyway, he is very, very affectionate, and he might be bumping the computer a couple times, so I apologize for that. But you guys love dogs, don't you? Anyway, so it took me a couple times. I tried using the 2 fingering strands. I totally lost track of what I was saying. 2 fingering weight strands, and that just didn't give me good enough fabric. Off, puppy. He likes to put his foot on you, and we never taught him how to shake for that particular reason, because he's constantly putting his paw on you, and it bugs me, and I didn't want to reinforce that, so I never actually taught him to shake. But if you don't pet him, he will just come on, mommy, pet me, and yeah, so I might have to sit here and just pet him so he will not put his leg all over me. But anyway, it didn't give me the good enough fabric that I liked, although I had a really cool color combination. And so then I had another thought, and I'm working on expounding with that. So I'll show you my tangent where this hat project went. I'm working on now a sock pattern that might be similar to it. So, off, puppy. So the first one, that after that Malabrigo one, I was thinking, okay, well, let's try a bulky yarn, because that double fingering didn't work out so well. Maybe I need to come out, use a bulkier weight yarn, and cast on maybe some smaller, a smaller stitch amount. So the first one I did was this one, which is the black is I was just looking in my stash. The black is Malabrigo, the Mecha. I don't even know. I think that's what it is, but it's their Aran or bulky yarn. And then the hot pink is from, I think she was called Pepperdine Knits or something, but now she's Luxadorna, and it's a cashmere, and I think it was a cherry color or something like that. I bought it at Vogue Knitting Live 6 years ago or something like that, and it's just been, I had made a hat out of it, and I didn't like the way that it looked because it was too tight or something, and so then I pulled it out, and it's just kind of been sitting in my stash, and I used some of that to make the hat. So for this version, I cast on fewer stitches than the pattern, but I think it turned out okay. It is, and I used a little bit bigger needles. So let me see. So it's definitely a little more beanie and a little bit tighter than the turquoise one that I showed last time. But it was a good kind of trial run. But then I wanted to come up with a yarn that I had in my shop, one that I could market to you guys, obviously, because that was sort of, and I wanted it to be more like the hat that my sister-in-law had, and hers was like a beige with this rainbowy alternating color. Well, I didn't want to do a beige because beige doesn't look great on me, so I did a gray and a rainbow. And the two colors I did were these. So this is just, I don't have a name for this particular color. I'm calling it just my Coveted Gray Rainbow Hat Kit. And so there's this gray, and then the rainbowy color is this one. And it only uses about 34 grams of that secondary color, which is about 36 yards of bulky. And then the main hat is these are 100 grams and 106, I think 106 yards. Yeah, 106 yards. So it used, and that was plenty for like a pom-pom and stuff like that. So Tonks, go on. I can't. Anyway, so those are the two colors I did, and then this is the final hat that I came up with. And if you guys follow me on Instagram, you might have seen this one. It is this. So it is bulky yarn. I really, really like the way it turned out. I love how the colors turned out. Now I did like a giant pom-pom. Obviously you don't have to do a giant pom-pom. I kind of like giant pom-poms, but you could put a poofy pom-pom, like one of those faux fur ones if you wanted to. You could leave it without a pom-pom. And then I also, because I wanted the colors, I didn't want the colors to pool too much. I wasn't sure how much variation between the stripes there would be. So if I noticed a couple of the rounds were starting to look too similar, then I actually cut the yarn and reattached with a different color at the start point so that I could get more variegated look. I have not, this is my pom-pom, it's just like tied in, and I have not woven the ends or anything. And then I made like this gigantic pom-pom, obviously. So that's the Coveted hat. It is going to be available very, very soon. I'm hoping, I gave my test knitters until February 4th, but everybody who, well, a couple people, when they started it, they literally finished it that day. It's a very, very fast knit, which is quite satisfying if you want something that is, you know, and you get something and you have a finished object so you can feel like you've accomplished something. Sometimes we need that accomplishment feeling. So nice to have a couple extra hats though. But now my husband's like, you have all these hats, they're all the same. You should give some of them away. So I'm debating on seeing if, you know, there's anybody in my life who might be knit worthy enough to have one of those, because I do have quite a few now. My husband's like, oh, you should give them to my niece. And I love my niece and she's great, but she doesn't wear my hats when I make them for her. She says they're itchy. And I get it. Like when you're little, sometimes wool products just don't go, you know, well with you. So I was like, yeah, no, I'm not, you know, I'm not going to give one to Lily because it'll just sit there. So I'm considering sending one out to my cousin in Pennsylvania as a gift. She's in her 20s, and I think that one of those would be really cute. And obviously it gets really cold in Pennsylvania at some times during the year, so she might be able to use a hat. Anyway, so those are my two finished objects. Yay! And then I have that, this is almost finished, so I'll show it to you because I'm not sure if I will be podcasting before I have a chance to show it, before it's completely done. So it's got lots of ends that still need to be woven in, so that's going to be a big old chore. But it is all like sewn together now. And I used, this is that crochet granny square blanket. It's huge, you guys. It's so huge, like so big. And it is all done in Knit Picks Swish worsted. And some of them like I said, some of them I had to do myself. Let me unfold it and I'll kind of just go row by row so I can show you guys. It's really fun to show you guys because you'll see it's a bit wonky and you can definitely tell like that kids made this, but I think somebody is going to love it. I personally think it turned out pretty cool looking. So we have this square here. Like I said, you can kind of see like a lot of the kids, like maybe they only got this part done. And so I definitely left the part that they got done and then I just worked the rest of it. But then you have this kind of like wonky center and this one, these guys over here. And oh, this one's a real funny looking one. It's quite like loose. And then a bright red one that has a little bit of stuff going on. Let me see if I can like just kind of give you guys the general. All the yarn, and it's so heavy, but like I really want one now. So yeah, super cool. Some of them, like the kids didn't return all their yarn, and so I ran out and didn't have enough, so I ended up lining them like in a two-tone almost. So I have this, I tried to stay within the same color family when I did that, so that at least it looked kind of ombre-ish or gradient style. So I have that rusty colored one, and then I have a green one over here. Let's see if I can find the green one. And then there's a purple one too. So here's the purple one, and then there's a green one. And I tried to spread those squares out throughout the blanket so that it doesn't look like it was a mistake or anything. But it's super cozy. I just want to finish it. I still just need to do the border and weave in all the ends, and then I will be ready to hand it over to the school. Now I am thinking, I don't know maybe get your guys' opinion on this. There's a couple things I've been kind of toying with, and one is maybe taking all of the colors and making multicolored tassels for the end. But then I would do a black border and the tassels would be wrapped around the black border, and so those would be multicolor. Would that look weird? I think it might. I'm not sure. And I would do it on just the short ends, so it actually was meant, you know, like have some fringe on the end. So let me know if you guys like that idea or not. Comment in the down bar below. The other thing my husband and I were talking about, which I think this would be cool too, but I'm not quite sure how to accomplish it, is making some kind of tag to go on the blanket that says, you know, made with love. Like we see, you know, we can put tags in our knitting, but I want something kind of big and something that maybe the kids can write on and they can write their names. So I was kind of thinking maybe I'd get some canvas or just a piece of fabric or something that was neutral, have the kids all sign it, and then tack it around an edge, you know, kind of like a tag for the blanket. I don't know. If you guys have any ideas for what would be good products to use for something like that, I would totally appreciate all the suggestions. So just comment in the YouTube down bar there in the video, and let me know what you guys think. If tassels are yay or a nay, or what I could use to find, you know, to make this cool blanket have some kind of connection to the kids, so that the person who buys the blanket at the auction knows that yes, this was Mr. Nutter's, you know, 7th grade class who did this, and you know, these are all the kids who participated. So I just don't know how to accomplish that, and if I have enough time for it or not. So that's pretty much majority of finished objects. I have a couple whips that I'm working on, and I will show you those. They're both designs that I'm in the process, and you guys have seen this one a little bit. I showed you last time. Oh, I'm in the front here, or in the back. Okay. So this is a new sweater pattern I am working on. I am doing it in Brooklyn Tweed, Loft, in the Tartan colorway, and I have some, like maybe half of the body done at this point. I don't even know. It is maybe a good 6 inches below the arm, so maybe half the body. And it has this little cable pattern on the front and on the back, and then I will just have vanilla arms, I guess, and I want to do like a cowl neck that's in like a 1x1 rib, and then do 1x1 cuffs probably on the bottom. So I am working on that. I have broken into the third skein of the Loft. Loft is a fingering weight yarn. It's 100% wool. I think they are a special breed. I'm not exactly sure what Brooklyn Tweed is, but I do really like it. I've enjoyed the other sweater that I made out of it a lot, and I think that this is going to be a great sweater, and I know that it will fit really, really nice. So I am working on that. When I'm not working on the blanket, this is kind of what's taking up most of my time. It goes a little bit slow because it is, you know, patterned most of it now. But I am making progress, and now that I'm not doing so many stitches with the arms and stuff, it's definitely going faster. And it's not every single row of pattern, it's like every other row of pattern. So you do get some knit rows in between to kind of give you a little bit of a break. I really am enjoying it, and I want this to be off the needles and on the body soon. So once that's done, I'll start working on grading and whatever they call it to make sizes for other people. But that one's not gonna be ready probably for quite some time, I don't think, because I do have a show coming up here at the end of February, last weekend of February, first weekend of March. Is the Sew Expo up in Puyallup. So if you're going to be in Washington and you want to come visit, I will have a booth at the Sew Expo. It's at the State Fairgrounds in Puyallup, Washington. And I've done it. I did it last year. I had a lot of fun. It was a great, great show. And you know, hopefully, if you're going to be around, you'll come by and you'll say hi and visit. So I'll be working on this, but most of what I'll be doing in the next month or so is prepping for that show. And then, you know, after that show, then I can start working on actually sizing and stuff for this particular sweater. The other projects that I'm working on design-wise are definitely a little bit more manageable. Like the hat, obviously, it's a one size kind of thing. It's pretty much done. I don't have to come up with all the different maths to, you know, create all the sizes and stuff. So this will be a little bit further down the pipeline, but I am really looking forward to it, and I can't wait to share it with you guys too. So the other thing that I am working on is a sock pattern that I was telling you about, the Coveted hat. This is going to be a matching pair of socks, kind of, and it's basically stemmed from the idea that I really wanted to use this particular colorway, these particular colors together for a hat, but because the yarn just wasn't working out the way I was hoping, I ended up just deciding to make it into a pair of socks, because I thought, well, it's fingering weight, I can do socks, and that would be fine. So what I have is two colors, and I don't even know if I have, these are just from Stash. This gray is a Hazel knits, I think. It's their artisan sock, and I have no idea what the colorway is. I bought this for a Vogue Knitting Live, the one I went to like 6 years ago. I took a class on Fingers First with Amy Dutzen. She was doing a class on how to do basically mittens, and you knit the fingers first, and then you just attach them all and went around. Well, that was a really cool class and fun, but I never ended up making the mitten. I made like, you know, one finger, and then I was done. So I decided I would take this gray, and I had gotten some mini skeins from Blissful Knits when I went to Not Another Fiber Festival this last summer or April, this last April maybe. It was in, I want to say like Salem or outside of Salem or something like that in Oregon. And it was this like lime green, hot pink little mini. And so I've broken up my mini into two, 10 grams. They were 20 gram minis, so I've broken them into two so that I could make sure I had enough for this particular sock. And I started doing sock version of the Coveted. So it's essentially the same pattern as the hat, but it will obviously I used a little bit different sizing and stuff. But so that is my sock that I am working on right now. I think that will be pretty cool. And I was thinking of doing, I have some just plain lime green for the heels, or some hot pink maybe for the heels and toes, or maybe a little bit of both. I'm not sure. So I'm debating on whether or not to just do the striping and then use like a lime green for maybe a heel and maybe a hot pink for a toe on one of them, and then opposite. I don't know. But I do like this multi, and I kind of want the multi to show up too, so I might just do those in the heels and toes. Depends on how much I have when I get down to that, if I think, oh, I have enough. Because it really only uses like one strand of that every couple rows. So that is my sock project in process right now. Excuse me, now all of a sudden I have the hiccups. So there's that. That is pretty much it's kind of been on the back burner just because, again, I've been working on the blankets so much, and the sweater has been my focus because I really want to wear it before the winter's out. The other thing I have been doing, just a little bit of this, it's just my Advent calendar that I got from Cat Sandwich Fibers. I've been mixing it with my mohair silk and just doing a seed stitch like scarf. I'm going to turn it into a cowl at the end, and I'm about, you know, halfway through this third color. You guys saw it when I was just about to join that third color last time. Very slow going on this, but I do pick it up. I do take it with me if I'm not sure what I want to knit on, or I'm a little ambiguous about stuff. So it's easy. If I have to pay attention to something else, then I can do this without really thinking about it, because it's just a seed stitch. As far as that goes, I went to Starlight Knitting Society the other day. That's a shop in Portland, and I met up with Leslie there, and from the Naughty Knitwits. I gave her the yarn and we kind of chatted for a bit, so that was really fun. I ended up buying some Tuft woolen soap, not sock, blah blah, and the Campfire S'mores fragrance, so I'm excited to use that to wash my socks and stuff in. So we'll have to see, in my sweaters and stuff. I've never used the Tuft woolen, so I'll have to see what that's all about. I felt some pretty yarn, but I resisted and did not buy any because I really don't need any more yarn, obviously. I need to be knitting from my stash, and I need to be, you know, knitting from shop colors so that I can have samples and things for people to see. I do have some dreams of knitting and dreams of casting on, and I'll share a little bit of those with you guys. I have been pulling out skeins and looking for combinations for making Vertices Unite, which is a Stephen West shawl. It's in his West Knits Best Knits, and I had bought the book like a long time ago. So I'm hoping to do that. That's kind of one of my dreams. And then I do want to I have some new yarn in the shop, and I was thinking of either making a weekender with it, or Joji Locatelli has the easy one, I think, or it's like the easy bulky one or something like that, and just like a really quick pullover sweater. I think I would really enjoy that a lot. So I'm hoping to, you know, get this design one done, and then just have some knitting, not having to think about design for a little bit, or at least have like one project. I do need to work on my Guthrie still, and that is still something I'm planning on making. I think I might be ripping out my Shoe Suey shrug. I just can't, I don't know if I'm going to see myself actually wearing it. I like the colors a lot, but I don't know if I'm really interested in finishing it at this point. So I might end up frogging it. I'm debating. So we'll see where that goes. I think that that's okay, though. I'm trying to be more selective with what I make and make sure that it's something that I really want to do and not that I'm just jumping on the bandwagon of the things that everybody else are doing. I don't like to do that anyway, but sometimes you get caught up in the moment and you get caught up with what everybody is doing and so inspired by what everybody is doing that you want to, you know, join in. And when you start, everything is great. And then as you go along, it's not quite so exciting anymore. So there's that. I still have, you know, a couple Caitlin Hunter ones I want to make, but I'm not casting on any of those just yet. I'm really processing through what I want to do and being mindful about what I'm gonna use my knitting time with. My husband and I were talking the other night, and I just feel really tired all the time now, and I don't know. I feel like I'm getting good sleep. I'm going to bed kind of, you know, really early. I mean, it's like 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. I'm such a, you know, old lady when it comes to that. And I get up pretty early, but I do have like a full night's sleep. But I still feel super tired and distracted. And he and I were talking about maybe it's a lot of my multitasking that I'm trying to do. I'm always like listening to a book when I'm knitting. I sometimes watch podcasts when I'm trying to get my workout in. There's all these things that I'm doing, so many different things at one time, that he's like, maybe you just need to like simplify things a little bit and step back from some of that. And part of me, I get so restless when I don't have something to do, and I feel a little bit of anxiety when I don't have something to do. And I said that to him. He's like, well, I don't know if that's necessarily healthy either. And I get that. I know that it's not like, I should be able to sit and be peaceful and, you know, just take in the moment and enjoy what I'm doing. But sometimes I just can't. Like, I need distraction. But I did make a commitment to try to maybe knit for an hour a day without any distractions, like without any television, without any book or anything like that, and just see if that helps me feel like I'm getting stuff accomplished, because I'm so all over the place that I don't feel like I'm getting things accomplished. I feel a little bit overwhelmed, and I think that might be where the tiredness kind of comes into play, because I'm just feeling a little overwhelmed by a lot of things right now. Anyway, I think that, you know, sometimes we go through these things though, and we have to process stuff, and obviously it's always good to be communicating and like looking at ourselves, looking at how we're behaving, realizing why we're doing some of the things that we're doing. I mean, that's very important, to be self-aware of what's happening in your body, with your mind, with, you know, your surroundings. So I'm trying to do that a little bit more. We'll see where it ends up. But anyway, that's all I have today, you guys. I know it's a little bit short episode, but I hope you enjoyed it. Oh, if you're wondering, I'm wearing the Andrea Mowry Baubles shawl today. This is in Magpie Fibers in the color, I don't even remember the colors, but it was a kit she did specific, or colors she did specific for this Baubles release, on the Solstice piece, which is the single ply. And anyway, in case you're wondering, that's all I got though. Happy crafting, you guys. See you next time.